The Georgian era of the 18th century saw a huge rise in the popularity of public entertainment, including the art of theatre. In the 1700s, if you wanted to see a show outside of the grand theatres of London, then touring companies would have visited your local shire halls, inns, warehouses and barns. It wasn't until an Act of Parliament in 1788 that allowed purpose-built theatres to be constructed around the regions of the country. There aren't many Georgian playhouses left in the UK. However, today I'm in the market town of Richmond in North Yorkshire, visiting Britain's oldest working theatre in its original form. Welcome to the Georgian Theatre Royal.
The theatre opened in 1788 and was built and owned by actor-manager Samuel Butler and his wife Tryphosa Brockle. Butler managed a number of theatres in the north of England. The Georgian Theatre Royal is the only theatre of his that survived. The Butler Company's lease of the building was not renewed in 1830, with the theatre closing in 1848. For the next 90 years, the building was converted for other uses, including an auction house and a wine store. It wasn't until 1939 when Edwin Bush, a history master from Richmond Grammar School, led a group of sixth formers to investigate the building and its history, that the theatre was re-evaluated. After a major restoration, the theatre reopened on the 5th of May 1963 with a Royal Gala performance led by Dame Edith Evans and Dame Sybil Thorndike. Further restorations took place in 2002, 2016 and 2020. The theatre is Grade 1 listed as a building of special architectural or historical interest. The main entrance and box office is located on Victoria Road. The renovation of 2002 saw an improvement to the bar and toilet facilities. In the bar, you'll find a map plotting the location of theatre visitors from around the world. An access platform lift has been installed for the bar and auditorium, with 2 wheelchair seating positions in the theatre. For our price comparison, ice creams are provided by Archers and cost £3. Ticket prices vary on production. For the autumn 2024 season, tickets start from £12 with a top price of £25. Access to the auditorium can be made via the theatre bar at the eastern end of the building. Before the restorations, however, all patrons entered through this doorway at the western end of the building in Friars Wynd. And note the non-90-degree angle of the building, which allowed carriages to get around to the entrance. Immediately to the left from the audience perspective was the pay box, the theatre's box office. It's believed that Tryphosa Brockle would have managed the pay box and collected coins on the night of performances. The entrance to the theatre boxes are accessed through this corridor, and the only access to the gallery would have been up this original solitary flight of stairs.
The Auditorium is a typical 18th century country playhouse. From its colour scheme to its proximity with the audience, few theatres in the country can offer such authenticity or intimacy.
The seating capacity when it opened was 400, with wall-to-wall benches. Today, the seating capacity is 155, with the furthest seat being just 10.4 metres away from the stage. The sunken pit is surrounded by boxes on 3 sides. The boxes are named after playwrights whose work would have been performed here back in the day. All seats in these boxes can be used for performances and can be bought individually. The inscription above the centre box, the Shakespeare box, is the only one which is original and is spelt as used in the writer's own signature. The 2 boxes at the edge of the stage show the close proximity of the audience to the performers. And be warned if you sit here during the annual pantomime, as you may very well get picked on. The proscenium arch measures 4.72 metres and with a stage depth of 6.4 metres. There is a raked staging of 30 centimetres. The stage takes up 50% of the whole auditorium. The theatre etiquette and experience in the Georgian era is vastly different from today. Lit by tallow candles made from rendered animal fat, shows would have lasted 4 hours or more, and with no on-site toilets, well, I'll leave it to your imaginations of what that must have been like. All the candles you see now are electric. Backstage, there are 2 staircases providing direct access to the 2 dressing rooms. Each are equipped with hot and cold running water, a microwave and a kettle. In the Georgian era, these dressing rooms would have been the living quarters of members of the butler's company and their families if they didn't have lodgings in Richmond, with the fireplace providing warmth and cooking facilities. Beneath the stage, the area is known as the machine room, which is where you'll find the footlights, orchestra pit, and 2 trapdoors that work with a counterweighted mechanism to hurtle actors up onto the stage. The theatre can be hired out for weddings. One wedding in particular saw the bride's grand entrance being made through one of the trapdoors, which has to be up there with one of the best wedding entrances of all time. The Georgian Theatre Royal provides guided backstage tours of the theatre. In season, simply turn up on Monday to Saturdays between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. to gain a full insight into the theatre and its history. Your visit will culminate in the museum located at the back of the theatre, which opened in 1979.
The theatre houses over 4,000 items in its archives, but perhaps one of its most special inventories is this. It's called the Woodland Scenery, and it's believed to be Britain's oldest hand-painted scenery. It's believed to have been painted between 1818 and 1836, and it proudly takes centre stage in the theatre's exhibition.
There's a whole lot to explore in the museum, and keep an eye out for the theatre's Thunder Run. The Georgian Theatre Royal Youth Theatre is located in the Paul Isles Learning Centre in Friars Wynd and was opened by Sir Tim Rice in 2006. The theatre has had many royal visitors over the course of its lifetime, with the Shakespeare Box accommodating their Royal Highnesses Princess Mary, the Princess Royal, Princess Margaret, the Queen Mother, and most recently the then Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall, Charles and Camilla, who in 2005 consented to become patrons of the theatre in what was their first joint patronage. As well as plays, there are also comedy and variety shows, youth theatre shows, and a Christmas pantomime, all performed in this unique and magical theatre.
Thank you for joining me of this tour of the Georgian Theatre Royal. If you're ever in Richmond or North Yorkshire, make sure you come on down, see a show and support your local theatre. My huge thanks to everyone at the Georgian Theatre Royal for showing me around today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe as we get to explore more theatres around the UK. And my next question to you is, which theatre should I visit next? Let me know in the comments below. I'm David Burchhardt, and I'll see you on the next stage.